Hello viewers, today I am going to make the concluding part of the Karnataka ICSE School Association Preparatory Examination for Physics ICSE Class 10 for the year 2022-23. Today I am going to solve question 6 onward. Question number 6, part 1. Figure shows a pulley system. The upper two pulleys are fixed and lower two are movable. Copy and complete the diagram and label it. As we have discussed this question in question number 2, part 1 also. So here I am drawing again. Because there are even number of pulleys, we need to start the string from the hook of the upper block. So I am starting the string from here. It will move like this. Then lower block, then upper block, and then effort. This is our effort. This is tension. Show tension at least in 4 strings. T, T, and this is effort, and this is the load. And the direction of load due to its weight is downward. You will get complete 1 mark if you show the direction of tension upward, effort downward, load downward, and proper position. Then you will get your first mark. Now in the second part, what is the velocity ratio of the system? As there are 4 number of pulleys, so velocity ratio is equal to 4 because we know the number of pulleys is equal to the velocity ratio. Now, how are load and effort of the pulley system related? Now, MA is equal to load upon effort. Here, MA, value of MA in ideal condition is 4. So, 4 is equal to load upon effort. It means load is equal to 4E. This is our relation in between load and effort. In part number 2, on a seesaw, 2 children of masses 30 kg and 50 kg are sitting on one side of it at a distance 2 meter. So this is our fulcrum. This is the distance of 2 meter. First child of mass 30 kg is sitting, and then at a distance of 2.5 meter. Another child of weight 50 kg is sitting, respectively from its middle. Where should a man of mass 75 kg sit to balance it? Now suppose the man is sitting at this place at a distance of x meter and the mass of man is 75 kg. So now you can see here we have anti-clockwise moment. So for the seesaw to be balanced, anti-clockwise moment is equal to clockwise moment. So anti-clockwise moment is of first child is 30 into 2, F into D, plus of second is 50 into 2.5, and here man 75 and x is the distance from fulcrum. Now 60 plus 50 into 2.5, 125 is equal to 75x, x is equal to 185 divided by 75. So value of x is 2.4666, or you can take 2.47, and this is the distance should be in meter, SI unit. So the man should sit at a distance of 2.47 meter from the middle on the either side, on the opposite side where children are sitting. In part number 3, a boy of mass 40 kg. So in the case of boy, mass is 40 kg, climbs up a flight of 30 steps, each of which is 20 centimeter high. So 30 steps into 20 centimeter. 20 centimeter we need to convert it into meter by dividing it with 100 in 2 minutes, and time is given as 2 minutes. This is the distance, or you can say h in this case. So value is 6 meter. Now in 2 minutes, time is 2 minutes, and a girl of mass 30 kg. In the case of girl, mass is given as 30 kg, does the same in 1.5 minutes. So does the same in same stair, so h remains 6 meter, and time taken by girl is 1.5 minutes. But minute is not SI unit, we need to convert it into seconds. So it is 120 second, and here 1.5 into 6, it means 90 seconds into 60, 90 seconds. Now, first part, A part, work done. Compare work done means we can take the ratio directly. So work done, W1 by boy or W2 by girl, or you can write B and G also. W1 is mgh. So M is for the in the case of boy, in the case of girl, 40 is the mass into G is given as 10 and H is given as 6. And in the case of girl, 30 into 10 into 6. So ratio is 4 is to 3. And in the B part, power developed. So power in the case of boy and power in the case of girl. Now, power developed in the case of boy, it is work done divided by time. So work done by boy is this much. 6 into 4, 2400, and 6 into 3, 1800. And divided by time in the case of boy it is 120, and in the case of girl it is 90. So 2400 divided by 120 into 90 divided by 1800. And the answer comes out to be same. You can see here. 2 1 is to 1. In the case of power, the ratio is 1. It means power of both boy and girl is same, but work done by boy is 4 and work done by girl is 3, or you can say 4x or 3x if we take the comparison in between these two. Now coming to question number 7. A pendulum has a frequency of 5 vibrations per second. 5 vibrations per second. It means in 1 second pendulum completed 5 vibrations, or you can say 5 vibrations completed in 1 second. As observer starts the pendulum and fires a gun simultaneously, he hears echo from the cliff after 8 vibrations of the pendulum. So the time taken is equal to 8 vibrations. If 5 vibrations completed in 1, then 1 vibration completed in 1 upon 5, and 8 vibration completed in 1 by 5 or multiply by 8. It means 8 upon 5 second, or you can take it as 1.5 second, 1.6 second. Now, if the velocity of sound in air is 340 meter per second, velocity is given as 340 meter per second. Find the distance between the cliff and the observer. Now, D is equal to V into T upon 2. Now, V is 340, T is 1.6 and divided by 2. Decimal 34 into 16 upon 2, 17 into 16, its value comes out to be 272 meter. So this is the distance between the cliff and the observer. Here you need to take this carefully, time calculation, because frequency is the reciprocal of time, or you can say time is a reciprocal of frequency. In next part B, an atomic nucleus P is composed of 84 protons and 128 neutrons. So P is the nucleus, atomic nucleus given, is composed of 84 protons. So we know that protons is equal to the atomic number, 84 protons and 128 neutrons. So neutron is equal to 128, it means mass number is 128 plus 84 and its value is 212. So this is P, 128 neutrons. The nucleus P emits an alpha particle and is transformed into a nucleus Q. Alpha particle and it become Q. What is the composition of Q? We know that after emitting an alpha particle, 2He4, atomic number reduced by 2 and mass number reduced by 4. It means Q, composition of Q is 84 minus 2, it means 82, and 212 minus 4, it means 208. This is Q. A part is Q. Now, the nucleus Q emits a beta particle and is transformed into a nucleus R. Now, new nucleus R is formed here. What is the composition of R? Because beta particle is emitted here, or you can say -1 E0. So only atomic number is increased by 1, it means 83, and mass number remains the same, 208. So it becomes 83 and 208. Does the composition of R change if it emits gamma radiation? If this R emits gamma radiation, there will be no change. So we will just write no, there will be no change. So the composition of Q is 82, 208. This is the composition of Q in A part, and composition of R is 83, 208. And in third part, we will just write no. Now in third part, the ratio of amplitude of two waves is 4:5. Ratio of amplitude is given. What is the ratio of their loudness? We know that loudness of 1 and loudness of 2 is equal to, loudness is square of amplitude, directly proportional to square of amplitude. And amplitude is given as 4:5. So 4 square and 5 square. It means 16 and 25. So the ratio of their loudness is 16:25. Whenever there is asked the ratio of them, comparison of them, you need to give them in their ratio form. In B part, what is the ratio of their frequency? Because we know that amplitude is given and loudness depend on amplitude but not frequency. So the ratio of frequency is 1:1 because it does not depend on amplitude, or you can say loudness. In C part, state the condition for resonance of two sound waves. If the natural frequency of sound wave produced by first vibrating body becomes equal to the natural frequency of the sound wave produced by external vibrating periodic force, then resonance take place and we will hear a loud sound. Now, state one way by which the shrillness of sound can be increased. This is our D part. Shrillness can be increased by reducing the frequency, because shrillness depends on frequency only. So by reducing the length, you can write by reducing the length of the string, by reducing the thickness of the string. Thickness को reduce करके, by reducing the thickness of the string, or by increasing the tension in the string. By increasing the tension in the string. In question number 8, part 1, two resistors of 4 ohm and 6 ohm are connected in parallel to a cell to draw 0.5 ampere current from the cell. Calculate the current in each resistor, this is part A, and then calculate the potential difference, this is part B. For calculation of current, we will use the formula. As we know that these are connected in parallel, and in parallel this current will get divided into two branches at this junction. So I1 and I2. So I1 is the current through 4 ohm resistor. Current through 4 ohm resistor. So when we are taking current through 4 ohm resistor, we need to take the value of 6 ohm in the numerator, and in the denominator 4 plus 6, and total current which is coming in the circuit. So 6 upon 10 into 0.5. It means 6530 upon 100. It means 0.3 ampere is the current in through 4 ohm resistor. Now I2 is the current through 6 ohm resistor. Now when we are taking 6 ohm resistor, then we need to take the value of 4 ohm in the numerator, and the denominator 4 plus 6, and then total current. So 4 upon 10 into 0.5, it means 20 upon 100 or 0.2 ampere. This is the current through two different resistors here. Now in the second part, we need to calculate the voltage. For this, we need to calculate the total resistance of this parallel combination. So 1 upon Rp is equal to 1 upon 4 plus 1 upon 6. LCM is 12. 4, 3, 12, 6, 2, 12. It means 5 upon 12, or you can say parallel resistance is 12 upon 5. 2.4 ohm is the value of total resistance in the circuit, and current is given as 0.5 ampere. Total current we know, and for calculation of potential difference, Ohm's law, V is equal to IR. V is equal to I is given as 0.5, and R we have just calculated 2.4, and answer comes out to be 1.2 volt. In the B part, this is our answer. In A part, these are the current through two different branches. Now in second part, a nucleus Pu means plutonium emits an alpha particle and changes to uranium, which emits beta particle and then a gamma particle to change into neptunium. It means 93 to 35. Write the above nuclear changes in the form of equation stating the atomic number and mass number of each nucleus. So, starting from plutonium, Pu, atomic number is 94 to 39. Now it is emitting alpha particle and converting to uranium. Now after emitting alpha particle, atomic number reduces by 2 and mass number reduces by 4. 239 minus 4, it means 235. This is the resulting daughter nucleus after the emission of alpha particle. Now after emitting beta particle, it converted into Np. Neptunium. Neptunium atomic number increases by 1. So 93 and mass number remains same, 235. Again it is emitting gamma particle. But gamma particle, there is no change in the nucleus, only change in the energy consideration. So neptunium remains the same with the same atomic number and mass number. This is our second part. In part number 3, A part, current rating of a fuse is rated 8 ampere. Can it be used with an electrical appliance rated 5 kilowatt and 200 volt? And give reason also. So power of the appliance is given as 5 kilowatt, it means 5000 watt. And voltage is given as 200 volt. So current P is equal to IV. So I is equal to P upon V. P is 5000 and V is 200. So value comes out to be 25. So 25 ampere fuse is required. But in the question, this is given that current rating of fuse is 8 ampere. So no, it cannot be used for the appliance. This is our answer, and give reason because fuse rating is much less than the current rating of the electrical appliance, which is 25 ampere. Due to this appliance do not work normally as it will not receive the required amount of current, so it cannot operate normally. In B part, name two safety devices which are connected to the live wire of a household electric circuit. You just name two safety devices. First safety device is fuse, or you can say MCB, and second is switch, main switch. In question number 9 part 1, in a laboratory experiment 0.02 kg of water. So the given data is water mass is given as 0.02 kg. At 70 degrees Celsius, temperature is given as 70 degrees Celsius, was poured into a copper calorimeter, and second is copper calorimeter, and its mass is given as 0.16 kg. Mass of calorimeter, and this is the mass of water. Initially at 15 degrees Celsius. So temperature of calorimeter is 15 degrees Celsius. This is the temperature of water. After stirring, the final temperature reached to 45 degrees Celsius. Final temperature is 45 degrees Celsius. Now, specific heat capacity of water is also given. C of water is given as 4200 joule per kg per Kelvin or degree Celsius. In A part, what is the quantity of heat released per kg of water per 1 degree Celsius fall in temperature? And we know the heat energy released by 1 kg of water per 1 degree Celsius fall in temperature is the magnitude of specific heat capacity of water. It means this is itself specific heat capacity of water, and we know that its value is 4200 joule per kg per degree Celsius. What is the quantity of heat released? We can show it as this also. Heat is equal to mc delta T, and m we have taken 1 in this case. So 1 kg into C we have taken as 4200, and G is 1 degree Celsius as in temperature. So value again comes out to be 4200 joule per kg per degree Celsius. Now in second part, calculate the heat energy released by water in cooling from 70 degree to 45 degrees Celsius. In second part, heat energy released by water again is equal to mc delta T. mc delta T. Delta T means temperature which is more. It means 70 degree. So 70 degree minus final temperature means 45 degrees Celsius. Now m in the case of water is given as 0.02. C in the case of water is 4200 and 70 minus 45 is 25. Now, after calculation, you will get the value as 2100 joule. This is the answer of second part. Now, in third part, assuming that the heat released by water is entirely used to raise the temperature of calorimeter from 15 to 45 degrees Celsius. Calculate the specific heat capacity of copper, the material from which this calorimeter is made up of. So, heat energy needed by, yeah, you can say required by calorimeter is again equal to mc delta T, and m is mass of calorimeter, it is 0.16. C of calorimeter we need to calculate, and T in the case of calorimeter is final temperature minus less temperature. 45 means and minus 15 means the temperature of calorimeter. So this value comes out to be 4.8 and C of calorimeter. Now we know that if this is an insulating system, then heat energy released by water is equal to heat energy taken by calorimeter. So according to the principle of calorimetry, you need to write here according to the principle of calorimetry, this 4.8 into C means specific heat capacity of calorimeter is equal to 2100. So C is equal to 2100 divided by 4.8 and value comes out to be 437.5 joule per kg per Kelvin or degree Celsius. Now coming to second part, some ice at 0 degrees Celsius is heated at a constant rate and its temperature is recorded after every second. This is our time axis. You need to show the time on x-axis always. This is our x-axis and this is y-axis. So time on x-axis and temperature on y-axis, otherwise your marks will be deducted. Till steam is formed as at 100 degrees Celsius. Draw a temperature time graph. Temperature on y, time on x, independent quantity to represent the change and label the two phase changes in your diagram also. Now we know that phase changes, two lines, portions of this graph are AB and CD. So AB and CD, these are the two phases where you can see the phase change. AB at 0 degrees Celsius. 0 degrees Celsius, you can see at 0 degrees Celsius what we can see here. Ice at 0 to water at 0 degrees Celsius. It means here solid is melting to form liquid. So this is representing our melting phase. Melting phase. Solid is melting to liquid, to form liquid. And then CD phase. CD phase at 100 degrees Celsius. At 100 degrees Celsius, and this phase is showing boiling or you can say vaporization. So this is melting phase, this is boiling phase, and in vaporization or boiling phase, liquid is boiling to form or to convert into vapor. These two phases you need to show in this second part. Now coming to third part, diagram is given. You have been provided with a solenoid AB. What is the polarity at end A? If you see from end A, the direction you can see is in the anti-clockwise direction. And if the current at the face of the loop is anti-clockwise, then the polarity at this pole is north pole. So in A part, we need just to write the north pole. This is our third part. North pole. Now give one advantage of an electromagnet over a permanent magnet. In first part we have used the clock rule. In second part, give one advantage of an electromagnet over a permanent magnet. There are so many advantages. Strength of electromagnet can be increased. Strength of a permanent magnet cannot be increased. And polarity of a electromagnet can be reversed, but not of a permanent magnet. You can give any of the one point. And third, in third part, state two ways to increase the strength of solenoid. From the last 10 years, I have never seen any question paper in which this question has not come. So this is a very important question. Two ways to increase the strength of solenoid are by increasing the current through it or by increasing the number of turns of the coil. You need to mention the word coil also here. And then third is soft iron core insertion. So with this, I conclude my today's physics video. I hope your doubts have been cleared now. Question paper is in the description box. You can download the question paper from the given link and then solve it. Still you have any doubt, you can tell me in the comment section. Thank you for watching till the end. Keep watching, sharing and subscribe to my channel. कहने का कोई फायदा तो नहीं है, सब्सक्राइब करने को कहती हूँ तो ऐसा लगता है कि सब्सक्राइब बटन दबा दिया तो कहीं हमारा बैंक अकाउंट मैम के नाम पे ट्रांसफर ना हो जाए। भाई बटन दबाने से अकाउंट मेरे में ट्रांसफर नहीं हो जाएगा। प्लीज सब्सक्राइब।